Welcome everyone to a brief Gary Neville podcast. Normally we review the whole weekend. There's only been one game this weekend so far though, and it is here at Old Trafford where Manchester United, as Gary's smile would suggest to you, have just beaten Manchester City by 2-0, and it was, in the context of the last couple of years, Gary, a really remarkable United performance.
Absolutely incredible, even at 0-0, Peter, even after 15-20 minutes. I talk a lot about intent. I was asked a question earlier on this week about Manchester United DNA, and I think it's quite clear what it is if you support Manchester United and if you play for Manchester United, what it is. Being aggressive, having an incredible attitude, making sure that you are positive and have purpose in everything that you do, that you play the ball forward as quickly as possible with real quality, that you sprint forward in your absolute droves as much as you possibly can. And I've seen everything and more there today. I don't care if they lose games. I don't care if they draw games. We can never be bored here. And that, look, the goals help. The results help. But performance, I keep talking about performance. And look, what's happened in the last 3 days? They've appointed Michael Carrick. Michael Carrick, I know him very, very well. He's composed, he's class. He knows the game, he's intelligent. He's got a good understanding of what a Manchester United performance looks like. He played in probably the best Manchester United team, really, when you look at Ronaldo, Rooney, Tevez, Giggs in that front line. You're never going to see world class like that, I don't think, again. So for me, yeah, I can't believe what I've just watched. I've done 8 of Manchester United's last 10 games. I've seen Burnley, I've seen Wolves, I've seen West Ham, I've seen Everton here, I've seen Bournemouth here, and I've seen nothing like that. And the system matters. The system matters. You know, it does. I'm surprised that Europa League Amorim didn't get a better performance out of the players. But what's plainly obvious here to see today is the complete shift in attitude and intensity and everything. Everything. I mean, look, that's not good in some ways for the players in the sense that they've been able to shift, but they're not responding to something. They're not responding to a message, individuals, a system. I don't know what it is. But how that transformation has come from the last 5 or 6 weeks, from that Everton game where Manchester United lost to 10 men to today, that is one of the best performances you'll see in any era, by the way, by a Manchester United team in a football match. That's an unbelievable performance from start to finish. If you said to me, what do I want to see? I want to see a 4-4-2, really compact, engaging, aggressive. I want to see doubling up of wingers and fullbacks working together to nullify opposition wingers. I want to see 2 central midfield players tight together and combine and stop the ball going into Foden in a number 10 position. I want to see 2 centre-halves be aggressive against a great centre-forward and nullify him. I want to see a combination of 2 centre-forwards, Fernandes and Mbeumo, and then Cunha when he came on, making sure they're linking together and playing off each other, but also blocking passes into Rodri to make it not make it easy. Everything that it's a very simple system, 4-4-2. Played it all my life here, and it's about basically the combinations of pairs. It's about the way in which pairs work together all over the pitch. That's a left winger and a left back. It's a right winger and a right back. It's 2 central midfield players. It's 2 centre forwards and it's 2 centre backs. And then you might have your left-sided centre back with your left back, and it's pairs all over, and how they're compact together so that they can play with each other. When Manchester United's wide players got the ball high up the pitch, you often saw Shaw and Dalot very close to them. You know, Shaw's played left centre back here. I don't know how many times in the last 6 months. And I've been screaming for him to go forward and get close to whoever his left wing back is. He's been sort of holding back. Just go. Just go. And look, I got quite emotional when that goal went in of Mbeumo, because to be honest with you, I thought, oh my God, that's what I have been asking for. It's what everyone in this ground's been asking for. We know what it looks like. And you know, we don't have to win. I keep saying that. There's no right to win at this club. And we might lose the next 10 matches. I don't care. But the intent to do the right thing is there. But those players have set themselves a standard today. I have to say, they've set themselves a standard in attitude, in aggression, in positivity when they're playing with intent and playing through the lines. Everything. You can't drop below that. You cannot drop below that. And look, credit, I don't know what Michael's done. I have no idea what he's done in 3 days. What could he have done? in 3 days to even turn it round from, say, the 2 games that Darren Fletcher had. Let's forget about Room and Amorim. The 2 games that Darren Fletcher had against Burnley and against Brighton in the Cup, where's that come from? So, look, there's definitely things that I've seen out there today that have been instilled in a 3-day period because they're completely different. But he's gone back to something that this club looks like. Now, like I say, I'm just happy. I'm happy because I don't have to come onto a podcast at the end of a game and talk about crap that I've watched and Manchester United fans booing and talk about how the negativity around the club and the players can't. I'm so happy to be able to see something that resembles what this is and what everyone here should be aspiring for. And it is not a time to get giddy or carried away, even though Manchester United fans should celebrate till their heart's content tonight and go for it and have the night of their lives, because these moments are rare and have been rare in these last 10 years. But it has to be. Michael Carrick has laid a foundation today for the next 4 months. And if he can continue to lay that foundation here with that level of performance for the next 4 months, the person who picks up the baton at the end of the season can be in a good place. You know, Ralph Rangnick came, it didn't quite happen in terms of that handover. When Ole came in and got the role, if you like, for 6 months, he then got given the job. Michael Carrick's got to hand that baton over in good shape, and that is an unbelievable start for him. And say well done to him, because he's a brilliant lad, a brilliant player. A good man, and he's put steel and a level of competence into their organisation throughout the game. And it wasn't, by the way, sit back and defend for your lives. And this was a bit different. So yeah, look, I'm really proud of what I've seen today, and I'm happy for Michael. You know, I'm happy for those players, to be fair. But I would ask the question: where's that been? That attitude, that intensity, that determination, because that's all we've really wanted to see, to play with a bit of fight and a bit of heart, and it's come.
We'll finish on Manchester United because it is, as you quite rightly say, their day, but for balance we've got to see it from a Manchester City perspective as well. First of all, I have to put to you that many watching that game, and with respect, you were outvoted in our studio at half-time, thought that Diogo Dalot might have been sent off. So please address that again, if you will. And then just see the game from City's perspective.
Yeah, I was surprised. Look, I thought yellow was right. I still think yellow was right. There are many, and we've seen already in the studio, Roy, Mike and Daniel have said that they think that that's a red card. Now, I was surprised, actually. Sometimes, you know, when you're sort of firm in your position, then obviously these things are subjective. And at half-time, the 3 lads said it was a red. Mike Dean, obviously, who sat on this gantry with us many times, said he thought it was a red. So you start to question yourself. But what I thought was that, and I'm looking at it from purely a sort of fullback perspective, it's a bit like if you punch someone, it's a red. If you slap someone, it's a yellow type thing. It's almost like. So to me, what Dalot's foot does, the ball's there. And by the way, you've got to take into consideration as well, I think, Doku and what he does and what he is. He's sensational at shifting the ball. So I think he's just gone like that with his studs, and it's not really got a lot of force behind it. If he goes like...
Michael, been a lot of talk this week about the history and DNA of Manchester United. Was that, this afternoon, a proper Man United performance?
Yes, I don't want to get carried away with all that DNA kind of thing. I think we wanted to play well today. We wanted to put things into the game that we felt would help us do that. Certainly want to be good defensively as a whole team. We felt that we had a threat when we had the ball on transition at times as well. But actually, when we did have the ball, I thought we looked dangerous. And so all round, I literally, you know, it's an easy thing to say, but we couldn't ask for any more. The boys give absolutely everything in so many ways. You know, 3 days to prepare, little bits of information here and there. And they took everything on board tactically, and then emotionally were able to deal with it, and exactly like we hoped for, really, and to feel that like we did towards the end, and the whole place. I said yesterday it's a magic place, and it certainly was today, and we all felt that.
So tactically, how did you do it? You spoke before the match about kind of targeting certain spaces. I guess having seen it now in behind and switches of play as well important.
Yeah, obviously, I'm not going to say too much with respect.
It's done now, Michael.
Yeah, but respect it kind of with Pep, and he's such an unbelievable, incredible coach, and there's such a good team that it's not for me to pick them apart kind of publicly. But yeah, I think we wanted to play to our strengths, and we needed to be compact. We needed distances to be as short as possible between the units and between positions, and we needed to move as a team. And I thought largely we did that. A few times it got a little bit opened up, but we still looked dangerous on our front line. I thought the front four, the two wide lads, Ahmad and Pat, I thought were fantastic both ways. And then Brian and Bruno and Mateo's coming on, making a difference, and Mason coming on again and nearly getting the goal. I just thought in general everything kind of was as what we kind of would hope for, and hence getting the good result.
I guess even with the career you've had, football doesn't give you many perfect days. Was that almost as perfect as you get, as close to it?
Yeah, I think it's as much as we could have close as we could have hoped for. To be honest, coming into the game, the change is not easy. Change is not easy for anyone, but to then have to perform on the back of it is. But I've had a real sense for the last few days, and especially before the game, how much the players were desperate want to have that feeling and want to give success and a feeling to the supporters. I genuinely felt that before the game. I could, if anything, I was more concerned that feeling would
spill over
the top, because they're so keen to do well. But I thought they managed the emotional side of the game unbelievably well, and so that made me proud. To see a team and what's my team today and moving forward is to have that feeling, and was great to see, and then obviously to be able to put it all together was even better.
There was maybe just that one moment where it nearly spilled over, wasn't there? The Dalot challenge, which, I don't know, different day, different ref, different VAR, might have gone against you.
Yeah, I'm not going to give you the token answer, but I literally haven't seen it, to be honest. But
well done.
Yeah, no, I haven't. To be honest, at the time I thought he had kicked the ball out, Diogo, but Sam told me, and his fourth official said that he hadn't, so I've not seen it. It was talking about the offside decisions, I've not seen them either, but apparently they were close, and we could have had more in the game. So that's it. Them type of games you're expected to ebb and flow, and there's going to be decisions, and that's it. Today, if they went for us, they went for us, and we'll take it.
You used the word magical earlier in the interview. I know what you did here and how much you won, but was that right up there? Especially knowing it's your team that's done that.
Yeah, that was that for so many reasons. I think that today was special. Putting things together quite quickly, coming in and trying to put print on the team, but gathering them together and emotionally getting them all attached to what we want to do, and I felt that unbelievably from the staff, from the players. So that it made it a very special kind of day as it's gone through, and I'm not getting carried away. It's one game, so it's really important we don't get carried away, and it needs to be a regular feeling of that level of performance, and that's something we obviously got to get to, and consistency. So I'm not getting carried away. It's a great day, it's a fantastic result, and there's the element of certainly soaking up and enjoying it, but it's definitely not enough. It's never enough.
And just a word on your coaching staff, because inevitably the credit goes to the man who stands in front of the camera, the man who stands on the touchline, but that group you've assembled around you, how much credit do they deserve for today?
Huge amount. I mean, I'm standing here. I didn't do all the work this week. I'd done a lot of the meetings and main meetings and team meetings, and maybe on the pitch and in front of the players a little bit more. But the intricacies of how much detail to give to certain players and individuals and bits of units, that's a skill, and that's why they're here as well, because they're fantastic coaches. So
I feel like you've got a good blend in there.
Yeah, unbelievable, and Steve's got a really calm head and so experienced, and Jonathan and Johnny and Trav. I think we've got a real mix of what we can offer the players, because that's what it comes down to. What can we offer the players to make them better? And these 3 days, you look at the result and you think, yeah, it's worked. We got to keep building on that.
Thank you. Well done.
Cheers. Thanks very much.
Opposite me here,
I'm disappointed
Mike.
with the amount of conceded chances are conceded. I mean, in a derby, you've got to give 100%. And if the team's playing better than him, Man United probably deserve to win. But if you look at Rico Lewis's position here, and yes, he plays and goes and plays in that midfield area, but you've got to stop the counter-attack. How was Man United going to score today? There was on that counter-attack. And from that free kick, you've got to think about the second phase. And here we talk about body language and body positions. And he does really well. He knows exactly where Dorgu is. And he has a little look, absolutely perfect. He can see the ball, but he can see the man. And then he switches off at the vital moment, allows him to get inside and have that. And this is not me having a dig at him, because I've been in that situation where you switch off. And the way Man City played, they go really high. But in that midfield area, especially with young players at the back, you need that protection. So if you're in that middle, you've got to stop it at
Well, that was the point I was going to make on Rico Lewis, that it's his first start since August, Micah. It's not his fault that it's not just him that hasn't played for a while, but also the rest of that back four as well.
Yeah, I mean, Lane, I thought it was very good in the first half, and he gets subbed in the second half. But when you're analysing and you're looking at Man United, they was going to have a big performance. Carrick, the energy was going to be there. We knew that. But you're thinking tactically, how are Man United going to open up City? It's always going to be on transition. So you have to think of worst case, what can happen. As Shirky puts in that ball there, you're thinking, Rico Lewis, I cannot affect it going forward in terms of in the area. So now you've got to think, worst case, what can possibly happen? And being there, Shirky as well, poor decision, he can run back, but Semenyo on the other side gets back behind Rico Lewis.
You can stop it at source, though. If Cherky makes a professional foul, we're not talking about a counter-attack. That's in those moments there when you have a player who goes, all right, I'm going to make a foul. Just stop, take the yellow and move on. But I think the touch of Mbeumo allows the counter-attack. They've not got the run.
We're going to head off, Micah. They've scored 2 today, Manchester United. They've scored 3 offside goals. They've hit the post. They've hit the bar as well. And we are going to show it to you again.
Yeah, just slow it down there. So this
stop it here at source.
Stop it there. We know Shirky, and you've got to know your players. So if you can roll that back just a little bit, because this is really, really important at the beginning of the clip here, right? So when Shirky's now gonna take it, pause it there, right? Rico Lewis in this moment cannot affect the game unless it goes to shot and it gets really tight. So now you have to think worst case. And if you roll it on slowly, you've got to know Shirky defensively, that's not really what he does. Yes, he could take one out and take one for the team, but Rico Lewis, where is he going in this moment? He cannot affect it. Now you need to stop it at source. And now the running back, yes, it's good from Man United, but this is at this moment in the game, this is the only way that they could open up City on transition. They had a couple of chances, but were disallowed for the marginal offsides.
But they lacked it all game, Mike. I think the City lacked that intensity for the whole game.
I can't give that to Rico Lewis. For me, I think stop it at source. If Cherky makes a professional foul there and takes a yellow card, there's no chance. The positioning of Rico Lewis, you could argue he shouldn't have been on the edge of the box. Maybe he should have been back in the first place.
But his mindset should be when you see the delivery going, expect the worst. Mm-hmm. You know the ball's not great. You know Maguire's obviously heading it, but these are split seconds decisions. Maybe you make excuses for players because they've not played for a while, but that's where you've got to do the basics right. And again, expect the worst. That should be your mindset.
For Manchester City is over, and it is a derby defeat for them and their manager, Pep Guardiola.
Well, Pep, obviously the result was a disappointment. What did you make of your team's performance?
Better team won. United was in 10 years is the time we came here that they were better. So nothing more to say. When a team is better, you have to accept it. You have the energy that we didn't have, and yeah, congratulate them.
So how were they able to, maybe not in terms of possession, but chances, how were they able to have the better of the match?
No, they had the chances at the end and the crosses, and of course the goals they conceded was poorly. You know that always United have been a transitional team, and we didn't control. But in general, we can talk about this action or the other action, or in the beginning of the game or whatever. So I think we had the duty to analyze the game in general, and they were better.
They obviously wanted an intense physical game. They want to bring their crowd into it. Were you just not able at any point, maybe because you didn't keep the ball well enough, you just weren't able to take that heat out of the match?
But they started really strong. We lost 1 or 2 balls. The crowd is normal, so we played a derby. So in many years, they were behind and play at home, a long week, new manager. So these kind of things are involved in a game. It's normal that will happen. But especially when we arrive many times in the final third to try to score, we never make a threat, we never make a crosses, we never make a movement to try to win that. So that is because also it's part of the energy, and it's not the energy. Also we talk is about win or duels. Always it's what do we do with the ball as well, not just without. And today they have a.
So to get a response and a performance like that in that short space of time.
What they've done has been absolutely fantastic. And I think more than anything, they've been talking to them. They made them understand what Manchester United is supposed to be. And then he's given them the freedom to go and do that. So there was no, as soon as they won the ball, it didn't matter where the ball was won, there was no restraint. Go forward. And we saw that in the first goal. You had, it's a free kick that Harry defends, heads it out, and all of a sudden...
Gary Neville breaks down Michael Carrick's incredible 72-hour transformation at Manchester United that led to their stunning victory over Manchester City. The analysis covers the exact tactical changes, training ground work, and mentality shift Carrick implemented in just 3 days to outsmart Pep Guardiola's side. Neville highlights how Carrick fixed United's defensive issues that plagued Ten Hag and Amorim while unleashing a devastating counter-attacking system perfectly suited to the current squad. The discussion traces every hour of Carrick's preparation from the moment he took charge through to the Derby masterclass, including player-by-player role changes and specific set-piece innovations that caught City completely off guard. Neville explains why this rapid turnaround proves Carrick understands Manchester United's identity better than any recent manager, positioning United for a potential top 4 finish in Europa League qualification. The full tactical breakdown reveals how Carrick's midfield pivot neutralized City's possession dominance while creating space for United's wingers to exploit. Neville's assessment confirms Carrick as the pragmatic solution United desperately needed after years of experimental failures at Old Trafford.